University Love Story. Episode 1, The Unexpected Seat. The lecture hall was already full when Ethan Carter rushed inside. The philosophy class had started 3 minutes ago, and Professor Williams hated late students. Ethan quickly looked around the room, searching for an empty chair. Only one seat was free. It was next to Lily Anderson, the quiet student everyone knew but few people talked to. She was always early, always prepared, and always sitting in the same place in the second row. Ethan walked down the stairs between the desks and sat beside her. "Sorry," he whispered. Lily slightly nodded, but didn't look at him. She was writing notes quickly, her handwriting small and neat. Professor Williams suddenly stopped speaking. "Mr. Carter," he said calmly. The whole class turned. "Yes, Professor?" Ethan said carefully. "Since you joined us late, perhaps you can explain the main idea of today's reading." Ethan froze. He had not finished the reading. The room became completely silent. Before he could say anything, Lily quietly slid her notebook toward him. On the page was a short sentence underlined twice. Ethan read it quickly and repeated it aloud. Professor Williams slowly smiled. "Excellent answer." A few students looked surprised. Ethan slowly turned to Lily. She finally looked at him and said softly, "You owe me a coffee." Ethan smiled, but neither of them knew that this simple moment was about to change their entire university life. Episode 2, Coffee Between Classes. The small café near the university library was always busy after lectures. Students filled every table, discussing assignments, laughing, and drinking coffee. Ethan arrived first. He sat near the window, watching students walk across the campus. In his hand was the notebook Lily had lent him during class. He had noticed something strange. Her notes were not only perfect, they were brilliant. Every idea was clear, every argument was connected. It was like reading a small book written by a professor. Then Lily walked in. She wore a simple beige coat and carried 3 heavy textbooks. "You came," Ethan said. "You promised coffee," she replied calmly, sitting down. Ethan ordered 2 cappuccinos. "So," he said, tapping the notebook, "how are your notes better than the professor's lecture?" Lily smiled slightly. "I listen carefully. That's all? And I rewrite everything at night," she added. Ethan leaned back. "You study too much." "And you study too little," she answered. For a moment they both laughed. It was the first time Ethan had seen Lily laugh. And suddenly, he realized something unexpected. She wasn't just smart. She was fascinating. Outside the window, the evening sun slowly disappeared behind the university buildings. Inside the cafe, their conversation continued, and neither of them noticed that someone from the faculty office was quietly watching them, someone who was about to change everything. Episode 3, The Announcement. The classroom was louder than usual that morning. Students were discussing something excitedly before Professor Williams arrived. Ethan walked in with his backpack and immediately heard the word competition several times. "What competition?" he asked a student nearby. "You don't know?" the student said. The university announced the national academic debate. Only 2 students from each university can participate. Ethan sat down. 2 students? That meant only the best would be chosen. Professor Williams entered the room carrying several papers. The class became quiet instantly. "I have important news," he said. "This year, our university will participate in the national academic debate." Students whispered again. "The selection exam will be extremely difficult. Only 2 students will represent the university." Ethan glanced at Lily. She was already writing something in her notebook. "You may choose your partner," the professor continued. "But remember, this competition requires intelligence, discipline, and teamwork." After the lecture ended, students quickly gathered in groups. Ethan walked toward Lily. "So," he said casually, "do you already have a partner?" She looked up. "No." Ethan smiled. "Then I think we should win this competition." Lily studied him for a moment. "You think we will win?" "No," Ethan said confidently. "I know we will." For the first time, Lily looked slightly nervous. because suddenly the competition felt very real. Episode 4. Long evenings in the library. The university library stayed open late during exam season. Most students left before midnight, but Lily and Ethan stayed. Every evening, stacks of books covered their table. Philosophy, history, economics, political theory. Lily highlighted important ideas while Ethan practiced arguments out loud. "Too emotional," she said. "You're too logical," he replied. "That's the point of debate, and passion wins audiences." Sometimes they disagreed for 10 minutes, sometimes for an hour. But strangely, their arguments always ended in laughter. One evening, Ethan closed his book and looked at her seriously. "Why do you work so hard?" Lily hesitated. "I want to become a professor one day." Ethan smiled. "That explains everything. And you?" she asked. "I just don't like losing." Lily shook her head. "You're more complicated than that." Ethan looked away toward the tall library windows. Outside, snow was slowly falling across the quiet campus. When he looked back, Lily was already reading again. But something had changed. For the first time, studying together didn't feel like work. It felt like something much more important. And neither of them realized that very soon the competition would test more than just their intelligence. It would test their hearts. Episode 5, The Selection Exam. The university auditorium was filled with nervous energy. Dozens of students sat quietly, waiting for the selection exam to begin. Only 2 of them would be chosen to represent the university in the national academic debate. Ethan sat beside Lily. For the first time in weeks, neither of them spoke. Professor Williams walked slowly across the stage. "This exam," he said, "will test not only your knowledge, but also your ability to think clearly under pressure." Papers were distributed. The topic appeared on the first page. Is success determined more by talent or by discipline? Ethan immediately started writing. Lily read the question carefully before touching her pen. 2 hours passed quickly. When the time ended, students slowly handed in their papers. Outside the hall, everyone began discussing their answers. "I think I did well," Ethan said confidently. Lily looked uncertain. "I'm not sure," she admitted. For the first time since they began studying together, Ethan noticed doubt in her voice. 3 days later, the results were posted on the board in the main hall. Students gathered around it. Ethan pushed through the crowd. He searched quickly for 2 names. And then he froze. His name was there, but Lily's was not. Behind him, Lily quietly read the same list, and without saying a word, she turned and walked away. Episode 6, Silence Between Them. The library felt strangely empty that evening. Ethan sat at their usual table. 2 chairs, only 1 person. Students passed by quietly, but Ethan hardly noticed them. Lily had not answered his messages. She had not come to class. And she had not come to the café. Finally, 2 days later, Ethan saw her in the hallway after a lecture. "Lily," he said, walking toward her. She stopped, but did not smile. "I was looking for you." "I know," she said calmly. Ethan hesitated. "You should have been chosen too." "That's not how competitions work," she replied. "But we prepared together," he said. "Yes," she said quietly. "That was the mistake." Ethan looked confused. "Mistake?" Lily took a slow breath. "I forgot something important." "What?" "That I was competing against you." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Students walked past them in the hallway, laughing and talking, but around Ethan and Lily there was only silence. "I never saw you as a competitor," Ethan said. Lily looked at him for a long moment. "That's exactly why you won." Then she turned and walked away. And for the first time since the semester began, Ethan felt something much worse than losing. He felt like he had lost Lily. The next episodes are on the channel.